This is the Cycling Esports Show, and this week we'll be looking at the best turbo trailers if you want to get started on Zwift. We'll be catching up with all the action from the KISS Super League, and we'll be speaking to our in-house expert, Greg Leo.
That's right, but first let's take a look at the racing. Both the men for the penultimate round in this first season and the women headed to Watopia, and here's what happened.
It was back to Watopia for round 9, the penultimate round of the men's KISS Super League. 4 laps of the Watopia flat course, a battle of attrition on the cards, who could conserve the most energy for the inevitable final assault for the line. The pace was ferocious from the off, averaging around 50 kilometers an hour. Plenty of sprint points on offer this round with 4 opportunities for the riders. As they headed into the final lap, the lead group had been ground down to around 30 riders and the pace was still high. With just over 7 kilometers to go, the impressive Alex Richardson of Canyon DHB attacked with Casey Schum of the Zwift All-Stars following his wheel. The attack was quickly reeled in though, only for Ribble's John Archibald to go big with 3.7k left. It couldn't stick though, and neither could Max Stedman's just moments later. All eyes were on the bunch sprint to finish. Bigham of Team Ribble went huge with a whopping 19 watts per kilogram, only for that man, yes, Ian Bibby, to pip him to the line and take the win. Beautiful timing and Bibby's 4th win of the season. How about that?
And we stayed in Watopia for round 5 of the Women's KISS Super League. Volcano Climb After Party was the course. With 26k race, things were starting to hot up as Harriet Owen of Hagen's Berman Supermint showed her form with a punchy attack off the front, and the group started to fracture temporarily. Another impressive attack followed from Lizzie Banks of Bigger Cervelo, but the group swallowed her up with 31k raced as things got nervy as the lead group of around 20 approached the bottom of the Volcano Climb with its relentless 4% gradient. Whitelaw and Baldy of the All-Stars started to drive the pace as the road pointed up, and the group was down to just 8 riders with 1.5k left. At 500 metres left, the aero power-ups came out, but it all looked too early with plenty of work still to do. Mary Wilkinson of the Dream Team looked odds-on, gapping the rest with 200 metres to go. Could she hold on? Not quite, as Harriet Owen unleashed some huge watts to slide past her and take it on the line, giving Hagen's Berman Supermint their first win of the season.
Yeah, and what about that finish then? So, as expected, I guess it ended in a bunch sprint. Dan Bigham went absolutely huge. Everyone thought, wow, surely this guy's smashed it.
Yeah.
And Ian Bibby comes past again.
Yeah, it's such a I mean, there's probably more than any course on Zwift. Timing matters so much on that. Just with how fast you're kind of coming down the descent into the finish there. And yeah, if you can get the slingshot from a good fast wheel into the last couple of 100 meters, you do go a lot faster. And obviously, I mean, Bibby still did some incredible numbers in the sprint as well, but obviously it wasn't as many as Dan. But see, Dan basically made himself that springboard for Bibby. So yeah, Bibby just had better timing on the day, and in the end, I think that almost matters more on Zwift, is just the timing of your effort.
What was the story for you? I mean, it was 2 flat courses, very fast. There wasn't a hell of a lot to report except for the finale, unless I was missing something.
Yeah, Ollie, I mean, I would say the story of the week was really Harriet Owen's final attack on that Volcano Climb. A lot of people were saying, like, Wilkinson went early. She went with the helmet. She had such a nice gap. How did she not hold that? Did she have a dropout? Did she stop pedaling? Like, did she just blow up? No, she was still going 8 watts per kilogram at the line. It's just Harriet Owen was going 12 watts per kilogram at the line and just flew by her and made Wilkinson look like she was standing still. So to me, that final kick after such a brutal climb, which really split up the group, was the story of the week.
Cool. And then so the penultimate round for the men, yeah, I mean, it was one for the finishers again, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, so it was actually really, I thought it was very interesting to see how this compared to round 3. In round 3, Bigham went for the long attack, right? He went for like a 1K attack and was eventually caught. This week, he had a totally different plan. He had some success in the sprint in that New York course. And I think, that gave him the confidence to go for the sprint in this one, and he really went for it. I mean, that 19 watt per kilogram, to start off that sprint, behind I believe it was Steve Young from the All Stars. He kind of started it off, but he had no helmet. He got a little bit of distance, but really it was Bigham who kind of got this sprint started very early. And I think it was the timing that ultimately led him to get second in this race. He definitely had the power to hold it down, but it was Bibby's perfect timing. He was very patient. He used the aero power up. He got a little bit of draft off some of the other guys, and he kind of slingshotted off them and just nipped Bigham at the line. So it was definitely a kind of like a masterclass in sprinting on Zwift from me and Bibby this week. One of the most experienced pros as far as the Zwift platform goes.
Nice one, Greg. Okay, now let's look at the best turbo trainers to get started racing on Zwift. First things first, it's worth bearing in mind that pretty much all Zwift races require proper power measurement, whether that's from your turbo trainer itself or from an actual power meter on your bike. That means you'll need a smart trainer, i.e. a trainer that communicates with Zwift to properly race on Zwift. Using a classic trainer or a non-smart trainer will mean that your power is estimated by Zwift, so-called Z power, based off of your speed. This is fine, but it can be a little bit inconsistent from trainer to trainer, and it relies on a number of variables to get it right, so many race organizers don't allow it.
But don't fret, because there are a number of different options to suit almost any budget. First up, we have wheel-on smart trainers like this one, the Tacx Vortex. These are the most budget-friendly and the easiest to use. All you have to do is change your rear skewer, mount your bike, and you're ready to go. And a pro tip is to use an old training wheel with a turbo tire on if you're worried about wearing out that rear tire from too many miles on the turbo.
Second, we have direct drive trainers like this one, the Elite Diretto. Now with these, you remove the rear wheel from your bike and mount your bike directly onto the trainer. Now direct drive trainers give better power measurement than wheel-on trainers, generally within plus or minus 2%. The ride feel is better, so it feels more like outdoor riding, and they are quieter. As you'd expect though, they are a bit more expensive than wheel-on trainers, with these in the mid to higher end of your budget ranges.
And finally, you have the emergence of the smart bike, like this one, the Wattbike Atom. No need for any extra bikes here, just plug in and play. Smart bikes offer excellent power accuracy, great ride feel, and with a few adjustments can be made to feel exactly like your road bike. The real benefit of a smart bike though is the convenience. There's no hassle of changing your bike in and out, and you're not going to be wearing out your drivetrain through indoor miles. The real trade-off though is the price. These are definitely at the top of the market when it comes to budget.
So those are the three types of smart trainer best suited for Zwift racing. Any option will work great, and as ever, the choice will come down to your budget and how much indoor racing you're planning on doing. Naturally, the more you spend, the more expensive the trainer is, the better experience you'll get.
Okay, so that's all from us this week. Join us next week for round 6 of the women's race and for the final round of the men's race. Will Madison Genesis be crowned this season's winners? Come back next week to find out, but until then, bye!